Hi guys, welcome to Yogalates with SJ and to this full body strength training that you can do at home with absolutely no equipment. So this is a 20-minute workout and we're going to begin here in a kneeling position, bringing the heels together, and you want to have those knees about hip distance apart, bringing the hands behind the head, shoulders down and away from the ears. Bring the belly button back towards the spine and you are rounding forward, and then inhale as you lengthen back up. So coming forward, finding that rounding through the top of the back, and then you are drawing back using your core muscles to draw you all the way back up, lengthening up through the spine to come back to that neutral again. So keeping your pelvis in a neutral position, so you're not sort of tucking that tailbone under or popping the tailbone back. And you are finding the shoulders are down and away from the ears. You're not placing weight on the back of the head. You are using your core to draw forward, and then you are maintaining that connection of core as you find length again up through the spine. Starting to open the heart a little bit at the top as well. So you might find a little bit of an open heart towards the ceiling, keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale as you round forward, inhale as you come back up. And staying here. You're bringing the right fingertips down out to the side, reaching, and then doing the same on the other side. So the left fingertips come out and coming back up through center. As you continue with this, alternating from side to side, you are imagining that you're coming up and over rather than crunching to one side. You're lengthening up through the spine, and then you are reaching to that one side, finding a really nice long line from the hip all the way to the top of the head. So you're keeping that neutral pelvis, you are keeping your core engaged, your shoulders are away from the ears, and you're keeping the pelvis neutral and still. And inhale, coming up through center, exhale as you reach towards that side. So we are finding a lengthening out even further, reaching those fingertips each time. Beautiful. Coming back through center, and you are keeping the hands behind the head as you start to twist one direction, come back through center, and then twisting to the other side. So as you continue with this, you're keeping your hips square to that side of the mat, and you're keeping your belly button to spine. It is only a movement from the belly button up. So you're keeping the lower body really still, and you are just twisting through the waist here, really feeling into those oblique muscles. Inhale through center, exhale, twist it out. Inhale, coming back through center, staying here guys, keeping your hands where they are, and you are starting to hinge towards the left side and then rounding all the way forward, coming to that right side and continuing with this. So we are moving in this one direction, and you are using your core to stabilize here. So keeping that belly button to spine, your lower body is staying still the whole time. So you are trying to keep everything really still as you just work through the core, rounding forward, keeping that neutral pelvis, and coming up, and let's go back the other way. So not letting those shoulders creep up towards the ears, keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears, breathing, finding those cleansing breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. Inhale, coming up through center, exhale, rounding forward. Not bringing any tension into the neck either, guys. So making sure that you're softening there, soften the jaw. Coming back through center, and we are finding a child's pose. So starting to bring the big toes together, knees out wide, lengthening the arms forward, and then we are shifting forward to a plank position. So you're keeping the heels together, toes slightly turned out, and then you're starting to sit the pelvis back towards the heels and then come back through to your plank. So bending the knees generously as you sit back towards the heels, lengthening the arms, and then you are using your core to draw you back to that plank position. So making sure you're not dropping the hips down, you're keeping really strong here through the core the whole time, and finding length from the top of the head all the way out the heels. Bending the knees and coming back through plank. and staying here, guys, and starting to bend the knees over to the right side, coming back through center, and then to the left, back through center, plank, and then to the right, and back through center, and then the left. Keeping that core engaged. Don't let that go. Making sure that you are not bringing any tension into the lower back, so we're keeping really strong through the core, not dropping the hips down either, and also not lifting the hips up too high. So you're keeping that really, really nice, strong position here in your plank. Beautiful work. Coming up to your downward facing dog. So lifting the hips, sinking those heels, and starting to release here into down dog. Exhale, inhale, deep breath in. Exhale as you sink a little bit further. Nice. Maybe starting to walk the dog here, bending through one knee, then the other. Anything that feels good. Beautiful. Then coming down onto your right forearm, and you are placing the left hand onto the mat, keeping neutral here, coming back to your plank position, and hips are directly towards your mat here. You're starting to bend the left knee in, and then the right knee comes in, and then the left. So you're sort of crossing that knee across to one side, and then back through center, and then the other, keeping your core engaged the whole time, making sure those shoulders are pressing towards the mat, and then you're coming all the way back down, child's pose, lengthening the arms and sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward and coming onto the left forearm. We're placing the right hand onto your mat, and you are crossing the right knee, and then the left, and then the right. Keeping it going, keeping your core engaged, and breathe in. Trying to keep really still through the pelvis, that neutral pelvis. Hips are directly towards the mat. Beautiful. Coming all the way down, child's pose, sinking back towards those heels, and then coming forward. We're starting to lift the gaze and lifting the feet towards the pelvis, and then you are rounding back towards your child's pose. Inhale, coming forward, pressing the hips forward, lifting the gaze and lifting the heels towards the pelvis, and then exhale as you come back, child's pose. Inhale, coming forward, little back bend here. Exhale as you sink the pelvis back towards those heels, reaching the arms long. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, coming back, keeping that belly button to spine, keeping the core engaged. Inhale, coming forward, lifting those heels up towards the pelvis. Exhale, rounding back and coming back towards your heels. Beautiful. We're starting to come all the way to a seat, and you are bringing the arches of the feet together, and you've got the hands behind you, fingertips pointing forwards. We're starting to bend the elbows and dropping down, and then coming up again, lifting the pelvis up and then dropping the pelvis down, and bending those elbows as you come back down. So it's a little tricep dip here, and then you are lifting up and lowering down. Keeping your core engaged here, making sure you've got that neutral pelvis so you're not tucking the tailbone and you aren't popping that tailbone back, and you are finding softness into those elbows. Nice. Now staying here, guys, and this time we're starting to cross the side of the right ankle just in front of the left knee, and then you're coming down onto your forearms, fingertips facing forward, and your shoulders are in line with the elbows. Starting to draw the left knee in towards the heart center, and then you're lengthening that left leg out, and then starting to draw the knee back in again. So we're keeping this going. You've got an open hip on that right side, seeing if you can open it out even more, so not bringing any tension into your hip flexors here. You're using your core to draw in, and you're maintaining that connection of core as you start to lengthen the leg out, and keeping this going. So using that core connection, drawing it in, and then lengthening back out, and drawing in, and lengthening out. You don't have to bring the leg out too far. You can just move it quite a short distance, or if you're finding your core is feeling strong, you can lengthen it out a little bit more. I just want you to make sure that it is your core working, not the back. So we don't want to be bringing any tension into the back here. It is all about working through that core. So just working at your own range. This time, guys, we're going to start to flex the foot. So you're starting to press the heel out as you flex the toes back towards the face, and then you are drawing in. So maintaining that connection of core to draw in and keep it going. And it's almost as though you're trying to press something away. Imagining there's something really heavy that you're pressing away from your body, and then you're keeping that connection of the core, belly button to spine, as you draw the knee back in. Awesome job. We're really working into those core muscles as well as the glutes and also all of the muscles of the legs. And you'll also notice that your arms are working here as well in this position. Let's cross it over to the other side. So starting to bring the left leg to cross in that figure 4, and you are starting to find a neutral foot as you lengthen the leg out and then draw it back in, keeping it going. So we are finding the same thing on this side as we did on the other side, and I just want you to make sure as well here that you have got length through the back of the neck and you're not bringing any tension into the neck here. So maybe just creating a little bit of space between the chin and the chest, and gaze can be slightly kind of up to find some nice length through the top of the spine and the back of that neck. Core is engaged. Let's find that flex of the foot. We're pressing out through that heel, drawing back in, flexing those toes back towards the face, keeping that connection of core. We're opening out that left hip, so don't let any tension come into that left hip flexor here. We're keeping that openness through that left side of the hip. Press it out, draw it back in, and press it out, feeling strong. Make sure you're breathing. Nice work, you guys. So good. And coming back. And we are coming all the way down. So coming down onto your back and hugging those knees in towards your heart center. Drawing it in and exhale as you relax it out. Melting it out. Relaxing the tummy muscles. Any kind of movement here that feels good. Maybe a rock from side to side. Lengthening the pelvis towards the end of the mat, so you've got that really nice connection through the low back. Beautiful. And then you can just start to circle those knees in any way that feels good. So maybe bringing the hands onto the front side of the kneecaps, just circling and doing anything here that feels awesome. Beautiful. Then we're coming all the way down, so we're just starting to bring the legs into a tabletop position. And then we're starting to lower the knees and the legs over to the right side, coming up through center and then over to the left, up through center and coming over to that right side, back through center and then the left. So gluing the legs together, and you are finding that nice lengthening out through the tailbone, pelvis is heavy, and you are just moving to a depth of what feels really good here. So we're not letting go of that connection of core. If you're noticing that any tension is coming into that lower back, just make this a little bit of a smaller range. So you can just move at your own pace, at the range in which that you can really maintain that core connection, belly button to spine, neutral pelvis, and that through center. Let's stay here, guys. Bringing the arches of the feet together, you're lengthening the arms through the legs as the knees come out wide, and then you're lowering the legs down as you start to lower the head and shoulders back down and lengthening the arms overhead and keeping this going. So it's a lift up, crunch, reach, and then lowering back down with control, keeping that connection of core. We are working those low abdominal muscles as well as all of the rest of the abdominal muscles here. This is amazing for getting right in to all of those core muscles. Make sure you're breathing, guys, and if this feels too much to lower the legs down, you can always just keep the legs in a tabletop position and work that way, just working again at your own pace, at your own range. Nice. Coming all the way down, guys, and hugging the knees in towards the heart. Staying here, and we are finding the legs lengthening up towards the ceiling. Coming to a split position and then dropping the back of those heels towards the pelvis and then closing the legs up. And then you are drawing those legs up towards the ceiling, straightening out, And then you are opening the legs out to the side, keeping the arches of the feet together, and then pointing out through those toes to find a lengthening out. And then toes come together, drawing and using those inner thighs as well as the outer thighs. So as you draw the knees in together, I want you to imagine that you're squeezing something in between the inner thighs. And then as you open it out, just imagining that you are resisting that kind of connection here. So you're resisting out through the outer thighs, and as you draw it in, you're squeezing in. So we're really getting the mind to connect to those muscles of the legs as we start to work into the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the hips. Also the core is working here, so belly button to spine the whole time. Keep this going. Again, working at your own range. Nice. And coming back through center and finding the legs lengthening up. You might find a happy baby here, maybe grabbing hold of behind the knees, or you might reach up and grab hold of somewhere on the feet, maybe the outside of the feet, bending through the knees and just letting those knees be about shoulder distance apart as you lengthen the tailbone down towards the end of the mat. Relaxing the tummy muscles, any movement through the head and neck that feels awesome. And then just starting to let the legs move in any way at all. It might be to straighten and lengthen the legs out. It might be simply to rock from side to side, taking some cleansing breaths here. And then you are bringing your feet all the way down onto the mat. Starting to bring the outside edges of the feet to the outside of your mat. And you are turning the toes out, heels slightly turned in. Your knees are facing directly forward or slightly out to the side, so in line with the feet. Lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling, coming to a bridge, and then lowering all the way back down with control. And then coming back up again and lowering down. So this is a lift up, coming to that bridge, coming to the back of the shoulders, and coming up as high as you can, finding length through the back of the neck, some space between the chin and the chest, and trying to keep a neutral pelvis as you do this. So it's not really that you are sort of tucking the tailbone under to lift you up. You're using your core muscles as well as kind of drawing up from the front side of those hips towards the ceiling, almost as though something's pulling the hips up towards the ceiling, so you've got that neutral pelvis. Beautiful. Now reaching the arms up overhead next time you come up, and then as you bring the arms down by your side, you're starting to lower the pelvis back down, so rolling back down. Inhale, coming up, reaching those arms, pressing the hips up high. Exhale as you roll the spine all the way back down, and fingertips start to come all the way towards the end of your mat. Inhale, coming up, reach, lifting. Exhale, lowering back down with control, keeping that neutral pelvis. Inhale, coming up, making sure you've got length through the back of the neck. Reach, lifting up even higher, and then exhale as you start to lower back down. Nice work. Staying here, and you are starting to bring the feet in a little bit closer, so the heels come in a little bit closer towards the pelvis, and you are finding that neutral pelvis here, and you're reaching the arms up overhead, and let's come back up. So starting to lift up and reach the arms overhead, and then starting to lower all the way back down, rolling the spine from the top of the back all the way back down. The pelvis is the last to arrive. Inhale as you lift up, reaching, and exhale as you lower back down. Nice. And again, inhale, neutral pelvis, drawing up from the front side of those hips, keeping your core engaged, coming up as high as you can, and then starting to lower back down with control. Inhale, coming up, lifting. See if you can come up even higher this time, and then exhale as you start to roll the spine, coming all the way back down. Inhale, let's come up again, high as you can, lifting, make it count. And exhale as you start to come back down. Beautiful. We're coming to the end, guys. So staying here, let's just finish off here in a butterfly position. So bringing the arches of the feet together, or the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall out wide. You might bring the hands onto the belly or maybe the front side of the hips. Just letting the gaze roll over to the right side as you relax the head that way, and then coming up and over to the other side and releasing the head heavy to that side. Inhale back through center. Any movement here that feels good through that head, just letting the pelvis relax down, the knees falling out wide, everything relaxing here, tummy muscles, cleansing breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. It was so awesome to have you join me, as it always is here at Yogalates. I love that we can do this wherever you are. It's awesome to have you join me. If you enjoyed the workout, you might like to check out the others on the channel and subscribe for more. See you again soon. Have the best day or night.